From Poznan, we head northwest towards Bydgoszcz to the town of Zenine. Here, the 600mm gauge Znin Tourist Railroad operates 6 trains per day from April to September. Construction on the Znin District Railway began in 1893. By 1911, it had become a respectable network with 46 miles of track and a connection with the standard gauge main line at Zenine. The line became part of the PKP in 1949. Regular passenger service was discontinued in 1962, but in 1976 the line began operating seasonal passenger trains over the 7.5-mile section from Zenine to Gonzalva. 1995 saw the end of freight service, leaving only the tourist trains to carry on the narrow gauge tradition in Zenine. Attractions along the line include the 600mm gauge Railway Museum and castle ruins at Venetia and the world-famous Iron Age archaeological site at Biskupin. We have time before our 13:55 departure for a quick look at the Zenine Depot, which features a classic brick roundhouse complete with an Armstrong turntable and a classic brick water tower. Just visible to the right in this picture is the interchange track to the PKP standard gauge line in the distance. As we head for the station, we grab a few equipment shots. Trains are normally powered by a LYD2, which means a 3-axle diesel-powered motor locomotive with a hydraulic transmission, although a PX38080 is also available for charters. Well, there's the highball. A last look back at the depot and yard before we head out to the lush Polish countryside. Many people lay over in Venetia to explore the 600mm gauge railroad museum and the old castle ruins, and then catch a later train to Biskupin. But we don't have time for that today. The scheduled 13-minute stop allows barely enough time for a few photos and the meet with a northbound train. Here comes our train crew now, and it is obvious that they are anxious to get rolling. Oh no. Tell me it ain't happening. Even the laggards are going to pass us. Aw, poor kids, defeat snatched from the jaws of victory by the crossing gate. And there's that guy again. There in the lake is our destination. Throughout the Bronze and Iron Ages, the inhabitants of this part of Europe built fairly large fortified settlements on islands or similar defensible locations. One such settlement was built on a boggy island in Lake Biskupin. Over time, the structures sank into the bog and were preserved, and the island became a peninsula as the channel between it and the closest shore filled in. In 1933, a local teacher, while on a nature hike to the peninsula with his students, noticed some stakes sticking out of the water. He reported this to the archaeological section at the regional museum. The current reconstruction is based on what was learned from the 4 decades of excavations that followed at the site. The settlement was surrounded by a fortification with a single gated tower. The rampart consisted of oak trunks that formed boxes filled with earth, and it was accompanied by a wooden breakwater in the lake. While it is not known exactly what the tower looked like, the base of the structure and even the gates were found. Inside the gate was an open square. The settlement was laid out on a rectangular grid with 11 streets that are approximately 10 feet wide. Lining the streets were about 100 identical houses built of oak and pine logs. Each house measured roughly 26 by 33 feet and consisted of 2 chambers and an open entrance area. An open hearth was located in the center of the biggest room. Remains of dugout boats and single-axled solid wheel carts were also found. While that may have been the preferred means of travel in the Iron Age, I'm glad I was able to get there on the narrow gauge.